Going cool, we're going. Perfect. You get the link for this. Link for this. You get the chat open on my phone. I'll pull up this thing. Close that. Okay. Here we are. Okay. As always, we'll give some time for people to get in here, but yeah. Oops. So, sorry for coughing today, everyone. My asthma's worse in the mornings, as I say every time I stream in the morning, but here's what it is. Give like 3 minutes, then we'll get going. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. I'm doing okay. Got up a couple hours ago, made some breakfast, all that jazz. Yeah, Riska, I think at 8:30 for I'll get started, or in 3 minutes from now. Be still doing the games were played in the order we will be doing both winners brackets first games, then we'll do the 6 losers bracket games for rounds 2 and round 3. Fuck it. I always say, I'm like, I'll wait if you miss me one game. I'm just gonna get started. So let's just get right going into top 4 winners bracket. We have the 2 high seeds who meet really far. We have Crying seed 1 versus Alpha seed 4. So again, the matchup here, first I noticed again, Verdape is very, very strong. I mean, triple rock types, Venusaur, Lucario. I mean, what do you want me to say? Oh, quad rock types, my bad. Quad rock types, I mean, yes, there's Gyarados, but Gyarados usually wants to be a more defensive, not more offensive piece. So really, you have to check in for him, kind of sucks. And also, like Thunder Punch or HP like, does kind of smoke it if you can get a couple rocks hits, so it's in range for the Conberry, which it pretty much has to run here. Mesper is also like an okay check, but it's not as bulky as something like UC, so it has a lot much harder time here. So yeah, Brave is a very, very strong matchup here. On the alpha side, though, like the rock types are kind of having trouble to break progress into fucking Swampert Fortress, right? Like I think T-Tar's probably gonna be a mixed here of like Stone Edge, Fire Blast, HP Grass or something. But even then, like you're gonna fit like Crunch for so even then like you're rank 4 attacks and you're outsped by like everything. It's really awkward. We'll say that Lucario looks fantastic on the alpha side. Selby obviously has speeds and kind of neutral of Earth Power, but then you probably have to run Bullet Punch as your priority or run both priority moves because Miss Maggie's there. But Lucario does look really, really strong here. I can also see like an agility set being very good of just fighting dark cover, taking the team very hard. Can even see like a more offensive Mesprit doing work here, but it probably has to be defensive just because Infernape is so problematic. Weavile's decent, but Lucario always forces it out. If arrows like Yashi always forces it out, so I mean, it's still good call. Obviously, you want the speed control, but it's not like insane here. The fact that Brent can run Adamant or Modest due to the speed tiers on the alpha side is really rough for them. I'm trying to remember. Canvas Magus hits 3. Oh, not. Let's say Miss Magus hits 309, and then. Yeah, Miss Magus can run boosting if it wants, but it probably wants a more bulkier set here, if I had to guess. Selby can't, but like. And very Weavile being able to run boosting natures is kind of scary, especially in very. I mean, what comes in on Adamant or Modest Infernape here? Like nothing. Nothing wants to come in on that. So yeah, I think I have to pretty heavily give this match a Crying. I think Infernape just goes berserk in this game. See how the game plays out though. We have Crying on the left, Ampha on the right. Armaldo weed into Infernape. So Infernape's just gonna weed off, just gonna U-turn out, do 27 to Armaldo. That might be a boosting item, honestly. Or it's just Source Instinct with more offensive Armaldo. With Natural Gift Grass type, oh my gosh, it's gonna blow away that Swampert. What an insane lead from Alpha. Nice slash knock a kill, Armaldo with his natural defense. And this Armaldo just went 2 for 1, he's still at +2. Not only that, but Swampert was probably the rocker, so he kept rocks off the field for Ampha's like Eero and stuff. Selby's good trick on Mesmer Choice Scarf, receive a Colberry, take 50 from a U-turn. So yeah, Selby was the Colberry for T-Tar, makes sense. So T-Tar's gonna come in. It's, take a C-bomb, so it's physical Selby, makes a lot of sense there. I like that a lot. T-Tar's gonna be forced out into the Mesprit as the Selby's gonna U-turn out, gain good momentum there, and Fortress comes in, can just spin these rocks away if it will like. U-turn out from the Mesprit. Inside Redraft, as we do get the spin off, so the rocks are gone for now. T-Tar's gonna get the rocks back up as Fortress goes for a spike. Out comes the flamethrower. Fortress Akka, so it can pretty much guarantee keep the rocks off, which is good. Yeah, assuming it's just spam spin here, yeah, like you don't want the rocks going up at this point if you're crying. Altair Fernape, though, on the rocks, getting good offensive momentum there. Very nice play. In comes the Mesprit. It's going to take 40 free from a close combat crit. Well, so I mean, it's obviously a super fizz that Mesprit. We knew it was going to be. But now we know it's Choice Scarf, and Invariab's going to stay in, meaning that this Invariab is likely scarfed as well. Because I'm pretty sure even no speed Mesprit, like at Scarf outspeeds Infernape. Actually, no, I don't think it does. Now I'm thinking about it in my head, but we see Pelipper show up. So Pelipper's gonna come in on the Gyarados. Obviously, has HP Electric or something here. Gyarados gonna bounce. We're gonna roost up with the Pelipper. Okay. Get out of range of that, of course. Going to bounce to 54. And we're gonna get paralyzed. Is a 30%, and we're gonna get roost off again. So it was rough for crying out because there's a chance of power every time. Well, on lucky he got powered on turn, it didn't matter because he could have hit it anyway. Bounce is gonna miss. It is only 85% accurate. And opponent's gonna roost expecting that So the thing is, bounce for some reason only has 8 PP, so it can easily just stall us out. Garrett's good Dragon Dance. Pelipper gets paralyzed. It's unfortunate for crying, of course. Quick the bounce is gonna roost again, and he's gonna try and stall these out, but it's gonna be really tough. The sand chip is adding up on the Gyarados, but we don't need this so much. Eventually, the Gyarados will just be able to just kill this thing. Bounce, you get paralyzed on the roost turn again. Oh no. Yeah, if you roosted off, you could live that, but bounce could kill the Pelipper, and yeah, I mean, bounce is a really dumb move. It's like it can miss, it's 2 turns as APP, it can paralyze. It's just a really dumb move. Anyway, Garrett's just gonna clean up here. Yeah, like I'm not saying like it's a bad. It's pretty much a bad move, but yeah, bounce is just like a move it's just like hacks. It's like Hurricane on steroids because it like has power instead of confusion. It's weaker. It has higher. It's just crazy. But yeah, some unfortunate powers did prevent Pelipper from taking out the Gyarados with the Sandstorm, and that kind of led to a sweep. I mean, that's kind of what Gyarados does, though, right? Like, if it gets 1 or 2 free turns to cheese, it just wins, and it did that here. Physical Celebi was cool. I like that a lot. The Armaldo, though, doing so much work off lead, taking out the Weavile and the Swampert Sorrow was really big. This Gyarados might be in Ice Shard range at this point. It probably would have been, depending on the Weavile spread and item. So, yeah, that's really difficult for crying. But, wow, natural good HP Grass for the Swampert is a very, very smart bring. And I mean, Alpha really cooked with that weed. That's one of the things I love about DVP is you can cook with your weeds so hard in draft. So yeah, Alpha will move on to winners finals, and Crying will fall down to the losers bracket. Still guaranteed top 6 at this point though. We have our other winners semis game. So here we have Nate Dogg, seed 15 versus Mad Sheet, seed 14, both having some upsets so far, and now they're facing off. We see a second Inverted Bureau, but this one has a much tougher matchup between stuff like Rotom and Tentacruel and Eros being in and flying on likely being Scarf. Is almost definitely Scarf because you want that for like Gyarados the T-Punch and stuff. Second, Gyarados Aero too, except it's on the same size team for this time. Gyarados looks pretty good here, of course. You have to weaken down the Rotom. Other than that, not much really wants to take it on. I guess there's Umbreon, but just to get T-Wave in this gen. So you get the Toxic Stall down the Gyarados, which is easier said than done. I think the Gyarados probably is something like it runs. I think it runs a Lum more likely than Macan here. I guess it could still run Macan if you're worried about like Scarf Rotom, Scarf Fly off T Punch. But I think Lum would make sense. You can set up on the Umbreon. There's no foul play in the Generation, so it's not like Umbreon can really punish you that hard outside specifically Toxic. In terms of other threats, Gengar looks solid. It outspeeds most of the team. Yes, Umbreon kind of shits on it, but you can double into like Infernape on the Umbreon, and then like what the fuck does he do? Metagross, actually was pretty solid. The one thing really roadblocking it is the Bronzong, but Bronzong can get worn down by stuff like Rotom repeatedly coming in on it and just chipping at it, chipping away at it. Bronzong is kind of annoying for matching to break though. It walls like Meta, Flygon, Arrow, all of them. Even like kind of checks Tentacruel pretty well, but Tentacruel doesn't do too much to it. And like you can just send Headbutt or Earthquake it for good damage. Honchkrow, Honchkrow's interesting here. Obviously the flying resists are Rotom and Arrow, and Rotom doesn't. Oh, and I guess Mana helps, but like Flying Dark and Heat Wave with some special attack invested is pretty good here. I will say in terms of hazards, Tentacruel is a pretty decent spinner into Gengar since Surf is a pretty sure it's a Queen 3 at KO. So getting the rocks off for Arrow shouldn't be that difficult. The one problem is Bronzong coming back in on it. But again, you're just gonna pressure Bronzong over the course of the game and chip it down, which is what you need to do. Donphan can spin on Rotom if you get off some assurances, but again, that requires him to keep up his own rocks. It's gonna be a bit difficult. I will say with that, toxic spikes are kind of interesting here from Tentacruel. They only really hit Infernape and Donphan, but every turn you force Infernape to stay on the field and take a hit of toxic spikes is really big because you just need to chip that thing over time until it's like in range of everything. Just keep it from switching into maintenance, and toxic spikes plus rocks really helps with that. Oh yeah. And the spikes from Rosario also guys, but Nate Dogg has so many Pokemon off the ground that it's interesting in that regard. But I'll say if matching keep his rocks up, that's really big because if Verb doesn't like taking them, Garen doesn't like taking them every time you switch in, and Gyarados and Honchkrow especially don't like taking them. Even Bronzong, like forcing it to lose a turn of leftovers recovery can come up in a matchup where it's so pressured like this one. This is tough. I don't know. I think I'm gonna slightly lean Nate Dogg here, but these are a really hard one to call. It's pretty even. Let's get into a Nate on the left and Maggie on the right. Invariably into Rotom. Just get a U-turn out. Let's do a tiny bit of chip as we're just going to fire a Hydro Ball on turn one, doing 26%. Healing most of that off of lefties. It's going to be a sub Rotom. Makes sense into a Bronzong lead, but the Bronzong matchup. But Bronzong's going to be Calm Mind. This Rotom's now in a bit of trouble. We're going to Will List here. It's a Psychic Break the sub. So Bronzong's only gets a +1 here. And it's not Heat Proof. You see it's Levitate. It takes 12% from the Will. From the burn chip. Psychic into the Umbreon. And Umbreon's going to taunt here so it can't rest. Very good play from Machine. They're very good. Very heads up. Donovan's going to come in as Umbreon's just going to Wish. We're going to taunt again so it can't get up rocks. And this Umbreon's doing God's work right now with this taunting. It's a very offensive Donovan and probably a more special defensive Umbreon based on that damage. But Umbreon can just protect, get back to the full. Obviously, we do have to. This Gyarados is now in for free, which is very scary. Aerodactyl is going to come in on the taunt, so that's pretty good. Very good offensive momentum for Machine. Ken is so much here, but calling the Donovan doubles into Rotom. Machine just kind of really reading Nate like a book this game. Get the rocks has a Hydro of this 80%. And Rotom is going to sub on the potential toxic from Donovan, which does prevent it. Yeah, that's a really wait. Oh no, right. I was like, what the heck? But no, it's I'm being stupid. I thought it was yeah. Ice Shard going to not break the sub. We're gonna come in, get off the rest here, so that's good. This Room is in very, very strong position here, though. Thunderbolt doing 52 to Gengar. That's a ton of damage. And now Derek can break the sub, but just do it now to another one. Yeah, Shadow Ball's going to break it, but this Rotom has done so much work already. This game taking out essentially two Pokemon on its own. Now it's actually going to come in only doing 57 to this like physical defensive Rotom, and the Thunderbolt's going to KO. Yeah, this Rotom has taken out 3 Pokemon so far, and still is relatively healthy. Out into the Flygon on the Flare Blitz. Yeah, you can't play CC obviously. Only do 29, so it's probably a Scarf Infernape, most likely based on damage, or it's like a really bulky Flygon, it's probably Scarf. And oh my god, Machine's gonna call the Gyarados switching, get the Thunder Punch, popping the Wakan immediately. Crit Thunder Punch is really unfortunate. Sorry to hear that Nate wasn't feeling well, but that's just how the game goes, sadly. Yeah, I mean, well, you can only do so much about that. And we're gonna taunt for every protect, get back up to full, forcing for is gonna U-turn out, game Rotom take rocks. But not everyone wants to come into this. The problem Garrus comes in, but the Rotom may have speed depending on the spread. I think it's a bulkier Rotom though, so probably isn't. Rotom will survive the waterfall on 1. Wow, that definitely was a roll, but wow, and yeah, that's gonna take out the Garrus. That's pretty much the end of the game. Very can just flare blitz it. But I mean, it is pretty much over, right? Just go, yeah, you can go attack roll, just click buttons. area get in the. Alright, so Terror's get out the Toxic Spikes help with the very beginning. In Bronze on here, we have to go out to Infernate, but Verbe's taking chip, and now, I mean, taunt doesn't matter. Obviously, Verbe, she's like a scarf set, but yeah, protect with the Umbreon to get that extra chip. No reason not to, of course, and get that little bit of health you're missing back. Into attack roll into close combat. We know it's locked in. It's going to do virtually nothing. Well, very one's decent damage, but you need a crit to KO after this, so it doesn't really matter. They're taking so much chip here. Out to Bronzong. I'm pretty sure Bronzong, he has 2 again by surface. Might be it's probably a more offensive attack roll then, based on that doing 34. And then Inverse can come in close combat. Needs a crit. Doesn't even matter. It would die toxic before he can kill the poison before he can kill the whole team anyway. Tentacruel just get KO, and yeah, that's match is good. Advance to winners finals on really good prep, I would say, and just really good play. The sub he played this Rotom masterfully, and catching the Gyros with the Fire Punch on the switch with Flygon opened up so much in this game. Yeah, I mean this Rotom taking out but Donphan, Honchkrow, Gengar all on its own was huge. It just provided so much pressure. Taunt Umbreon, very nice. Just keeping the rocks off for early game, preventing Bronzong from resting. Just very good prep there. On the inside, I like the Calm Mind Bronzong about say with the taunt didn't really to do much. Yeah, and the team felt a little weak to sub Rotom, but like I don't know what like you have done about it. Like you would have had some assurance on Donphan, like assurance one berry maybe they could just spam Will. I don't know. It's rough. But yeah, Matthew's good. Take a big win here and move on to the winners finals. Nate is going to fall down to top 6 in winners. Okay, let's get into our first losers bracket match of the day. We have Sleepy Seed 12 versus Venga Venga Seed 7. So we have the reigning Emerald Open champion versus the reigning Smogon Draft TVP Cup champion. 2 very high profile players. Obviously, Venga's a bit more known for TVP, but 2 very high profile players playing down. I think this is top 12, so pretty early on in the redraft in losers. So let's look at the matchup here. Metagross and Quaidar are decent Dragonite checks as usual, but I mean it's never bad. Like Dragonite's never bad. You probably can run like a mix set or something. It always has something to do. Metagross, Skarmory's the check is a bit annoying, but like Kingdra, Gengar, Electivire all pressure Skarm really hard. And especially like Kingdra doesn't really have switch-ins. Like Sleepy probably has to bring Fion for that, but like what do you do if it just starts clicking Specs Dragon Pulse? So yeah, Venga's Kingdra looking very, very strong here. There's not much priority on Sleepy side here outside the E-Speed from Dragonite. So that makes things pretty difficult. We'll say Sleepy can keep a hazards pretty well, but this Quaidal can't do shit to Skarmory. And Donphan can spin on Gengar, but like, it's not the most consistent thing in the world. Skuntank almost definitely comes in. Pursuit Traps Gengar. If you get Quaidal pretty low, you can Pursuit Trap that. And Pursuit Trapping a Quaidal is really nice. It opens up Raikou super hard in this end game. Electivire is pretty good, though, as a Raikou check. Also, I'm kind of torn to see what 6 Venga's going to bring. Maybe Drapions the drop of these. Is your Drapion or Sceptile? And then I think you have to bring Electivire for, like, the Raikou. I think you just have to because Quaidal is too pressured in this game. We do see the Metagross looking pretty good. I mean, Skarm's the check, but yeah, as I said earlier, you have ways to stop that. Gengar is interesting because you have Skuntank and Miltank, which both can pretty hard wall it. So if Gengar comes, it's probably a more interest like Willow sub support kind of thing with maybe Pain Split. But the fact that Miltank gets Heal Bell makes it difficult. I could see like a Willow Taunt set from Gengar potentially, a Willow Taunt Pain Split like attacking move. So that way, like probably a poison move, so that you can wear down the Miltank. It's you can taunt Skarm, like you just force it to prevent from getting up rocks and then you or spikes, and you go into Electivire, force offensive progress that way. So Gengar's a bit weird in this matchup, but I think Will like taunt set's really strong here. Yeah, overall, I think overall I'm gonna give this to Venga on the back of Pokemon Kingdra. Sceptile also looks very, very good here with its natural speed tier. And like the one honestly can't hit like both. Actually, I don't think he has Dragon Pulse. It might I don't read Dragon Pulse in this gen. If it does, it can hit like both Skarmory and Dragon on the same set. If not, it has to pick one. But okay, it's pretty solid. So yeah, me have this matchup with Venga. Let's get into it. Sleepy on the left, Venga on the right. I love Sleepy's nick. Usual name Cannon Queen. It's so funny. Good trade rocks here. Quail's just gonna spin as Skarm's probably gonna let's just get Braver 32, not bad damage. And we see neither side is right lefties. Interesting on these 2 Pokemon. Get up the rain dance, whip the Quaidal, get up the rocks, warrior, boom, do 32 on Skarm. However, whip 2 years of hazards now. Kingdra's taking 25 from switching in here. Dragonite is the switching on the Kingdra as we just surf with a crit doing 76. Wow. That's unfortunate. I mean, it could have gone off a huge E-speed on the following turn. That's really unfortunate. Driftwing comes in though. In comes the Drapion on it. So it lives a hit. And then if it was if your Kingdra, Scarm is the double. You got Taunt and Scarm. It's just gonna Brave Bird for 33. Brave Bird's natural base power doing a lot of work here, getting off these 30% chips. Oh, and Ice Fang is gonna freeze the Scarm Ray. That's really unfortunate. Wow. That British sound comes. It's cussed that berry, but I mean, it's very obvious it was gonna be cussed that because it wasn't lefties. But yeah, being frozen if the cuss tap really sucks, and then just going down to a third one. Might be a slightly higher roll in the last Ice Fang, depending on showdown, like showing it. Draven is also running Rain Dance. He is faster than the Raikou, so that's a very slow Raikou then if the Draven is faster. Getting in the Kingdra, but that means this Raikou's pretty bulky. A Hydro Pump, base Hydro Pump, yeah, Surf probably won't kill based on the fact that Raikou was slower than Draven. We're gonna bring in the Skuntank, and we're gonna pursue, meaning that this Kingdra is now dead. There's no way to remove hazards anymore. That was a big play. I you know, I feel, I guess you had to be that play because if you suckered there, like, and you got it wrong, like they got rid of such a position. Mirror Match is gonna miss. We're gonna get off the Drift Whim of sub. We're gonna proc him, burn him with our Citrus Berry. Spam substitute, of course. You might as well fish for the Mirror Match, but instead, Venga's gonna get the boost. But oh, Drift Whim's gonna run Destiny Bond. It's gonna miss, however. That's really bad for a Sleepy Hour. In this duration, Destiny Bond does not have a fail chance if used consecutively. So Mega's still gonna go down here. Miltank is going to come in as will Electivire on Venga's side. So before I'm going to say hazard here. Electivire, this thing is focused. I didn't know this thing got focus blast. Okay, well, that is going to take out the Miltank, but we're going to sack the Kingdra hazards. What is Venga's last Pokemon? It is Gengar. This thing sure is Sucker Punch, right? Yeah, Sucker Punch. And Gengar's not Culver. And now Electivire taking on his hazard chip. I'm not sure. Sucker Punch is going to do 47. Electivire's just got Earthquake. But oh my god, Skuntank lives that. Electivire kind of showing those fraud allegations when we doing 63 a Skuntank that probably wasn't even that bulky. But yeah, on a super tight end game, Sweepy is gonna move on. Also, my favorite games of the tournament so far. This was fantastic. Very well played by both sides with Sweepy, especially of keeping the Kingdra, forcing it to repeatedly come in, take hazards, and forcing it out. Very well done. Radiance Drape me as the first. Also, I think Radiance quite all. I haven't seen much either, but both solid response for Kingdra. I like the Focus Blast. Electivire hits obviously the um the Miltank harder than Cross Drop, so it's naturally more special defense. Yeah, just pretty good play and probably both sides. I like the Citrus Berry Umber and Destiny Ball was really cool. Yeah, just a very well played. I think Sleepy kind of just outplayed here and earned her spot in top 8. Let's get into our next one. And remember, top 8 does guarantee at least a small prize of $10, so at least a minimum price. Next game for Losers Bracket, we still in top 12. We have Mardo, seed 10 versus King Kwai, seed 13. Let's take a peek here. Well, Dragonite doesn't love seeing Bronzong and Flygon on the air side, but even creatively, but it's not too bad. I mean, Bronzong is really annoying for Mardo and Jero. No fire type obviously makes it a bit difficult. And honestly, not a lot of pressure. I guess Empoleon kind of pressure. That's about it. Yeah, Bronzong's looking like a huge pain in the butt for Marto. I can also see Vanomoth coming to like try and specs Bug Buzz through it. But even then, like that's not amazing. It is decent here, but like there's something like Crobat which easily eats it and can roost it off. um, Something I want to note is Clyde's Rotom goes freaking crazy here. If you be Wash or Heat, I went Wash because that way you can hit Swampert. You can hit both Swampert and Scissor in the same set, but like it could easily be Heat to hit Scissor harder. But I'll be lowering your lowering your special attack is really risky into a Dragonite that could be Lum and just completely blank you. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, yep. So yeah, I think it has to be Washington. You can't really risk the attack drop there. It opens up Dragonite too much. Yes, you have a Bronzong, but like Bronzong's gonna get worn down. It just does have recovery. I guess it could run it can run like what is it? Fucking rest. That makes it really miss. Mardo doesn't have a ton of taunt either to keep it Bronzong low. Clyde's Blaziken looks pretty solid here, actually. The fire resist is just Swampert. Swampert gets worn down. Again, there's kind of a common trend. It's just Mario's team kind of lacking overall recovery. And then in taunt, kind of lacking a lot of utility, honestly, which might come to bite him here. And also, like, Flygon's pretty solid. Like, the only real check is Swampert. Again, Swampert is taking a lot of hits from a lot of Pokemon here. I think I have to give this matchup to Clyde just over the course of a long game. So you critically lead into Celebi on Mario's side. Good U-turn out for only 24. It's not terrible damage, though. Income Scissor as Kratos can get the rocks. Rotom-Mow. Okay, so he really wanted to hit that Swampert harder. Interesting. Or at least put on the fear of the Swampert being forced out by this. You got Psychic into the Rotom. You have a Shadow Ball doing 61, but that 45 is a lot too. That Psychic. Out to Scissor on the presumed Shadow Ball. We're gonna double into Bronzong here. You turning out, doing 36, it's not terrible damage, into Swampert. Hand Power Fire, good bounce off the Swampert, of course. Waterfall will come out for 26. It's going to flinch the Swampert, might as well get that chip. And we're going to see Curse on the Swampert starting. Oh. It is Rest Bronzong, as I figured would very well taunt this team. Resto Chesto, though. Into Cradley on the Waterfall, going to take 48, but you do have speed now at least. Energy Ball, Blaze, Rindo Swampert, it's going to do 50. That's not bad damage, but Waterfall, but now obviously you have to go into Roman. We Storm, or I guess you can go into Flygon, but does Flygon even kill at that range? I'm not sure. I guess, yeah, it kind of telegraphs HP Grass or Dracos, that makes sense. Anyway, and points to Ice Beam as Blazes can come in. Yeah. Quite very funny. Overeat's gonna come off and not okay. There we go. Waterfall there. Waterfall again. Again, our flinch. That is, how the game goes with Waterfall sometimes. And Swapper's gonna take out the Bronzong that way. Gonna go for Earth Power, so it is fully special Flygon. Interesting. And comes the Empoleon. Crew is go with Earth Power most likely. It's Shucka. By end of the day, it depends on my roll. We're gonna have a Torrent boosted Hydro Pump doing A9. Empoleon's not running Aqua Jet, so we're just gonna kick it out here. In comes Celebi, presumably Scarf based on bringing it in. You got the Psychic there. In comes the Crobat. Switching out to Scizor on the Air Slash. So special meaning Heat Wave is likely coming out this turn, or just a switch into this game works too. Bullet Punch doing 40%. That's a banded Scissor for sure. On the Flamethrower, I guess it might be a roll then with that Bullet Punch if he switched. I'm not sure. Or he was worried about Rome coming in. I'm not sure on that play. And Soldier can come out to only 39 to Rome. Will survive. Quick the rest. So it's another rest Pokemon taking advantage of again, the lack of tone on Mario's side. X Scissor, I guess you didn't want to miss, but I don't know. I feel like that was never the play. Area Sleep Talk, so Rest Sleep Talk discharge Shower. So it's not even running we Storm just wanted it to bluff, which makes sense. You have the Swords Dance here, so it depends if it rolls a Sleep Talk move. It is, so Armel's gonna go down here. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You all force out the Swampert. So, yeah. Dragon's gonna come in quick agility. Oh shit. Is it Rose just gonna discharge to get the powerless? Is not outrage to come out. Only doing 73 but is not boosted, and with the life orb is in range of a discharge. This Rotom really turning things around. Rotom Appliance doing a lot of work all stream. Celebi's going to come in. It's going to Psychic Blazing's going to be the sack, but Crobat should have speed unless it's Sphinx Scarf. But I think it's Scarf. We know that. But it's going to live and quick off the HP Fire, taking out the Scissor. Taking out the Celebi. Scissor's going to come in, Calvin's Bullet Punch here. And we get in the Rotom here. Rotom is in range. Bullet Punch going to do 24. It's a 9 range of the man. Bullet Punch and Discharge will finish the game. Wow, two very, very close games at the end in a row. Two close end games in a row. Very cool. I like the special Barcelona's team really taking advantage of Marto's team having much more special defense overall with the special Cradley specials. Flygon, special everything like Flygon, Blaziken is probably mixed actually. Crobat and just taking advantage of that. The rest to abuse the lack of taunt on Marto's team, just very well analyzed by Clyde. I have to say that he just kind of picked up on the big weaknesses of Marto's redraft and abused them to an extent. Very well done. Agility Dragonite was cool. I get it. Like you want speed stuff like Scarf Flygon makes sense. Um, you know, Nothing feels too crazy on the side. Curse Swampert's okay. I don't love this matchup, but I get it. I feel like I don't know. I don't love this matchup, but I understand why you brought it. I think there's just maybe better options. But still, good win by Clyde here, advancing him to top 8. A third losers bracket match of the day. Let's get into it. So we have Barchoke seed 11 versus Coconut seed 16. So see, so we see another Kingdra team, and Kingdra also very, very scary in the last game, but did not end up moving on. I believe it was Vengas and Subi played around very well. So Kingdra also looking very scary, but Suiku's a decent check to it. And but it's not amazing, of course. Scarf Jolteon does have speed, and you can paralyze it with like Thunder Wave. It helps a lot, or even just hit hard with like a really hard Thunder, which can maybe do the job. So definitely there is counterplay at Kingdra here. Also, Cresselia's pretty decent stopgap for it. Heatran looking interesting. The fires are really bad, actually. Heatran looks crazy here. I mean, sure you give Kingdra free entry, but like as I said, you have good Kingdra responses. And actually, Floats doesn't come in for free. It takes so much damage. It's so frail. Suicu's interesting. I like it here a lot. You serve HP Dragon his whole team just have to watch out for like Thunder Punch. You have to watch out for like physical electric moves from Electivire. Even then, those don't do much unless they're banded. If they're banded, you can just go into Jolteon and like, cool. Now if you're banned, you're locked into I get free Thunderbolt or HP ground the rest of your team, and your team does not enjoy that at all. Even Nailquins get worn down from repeat HP grounds. Fortress also like can't spin on Rotom for the life. I guess it has payback Venus Willis for that. So if Virgil can get rocks up early, that could be big to wear down just Koga's entire team. There's a lot of switching on Koga's team. With well, I guess being the ace out, but also every bit of chip on Kingdra helps put it in range of Scarf Jolteon, which is really important. Lucario looks pretty solid. Fighting Dark hits everything, of course. You're gonna need chip on Crest because +2 Life Orb Crunch doesn't straight up look up for I remember. But it's definitely workable. And +2 speed is going to blow away that Jolteon, which is only if you have really high speeds. I guess there's also Rotom. You have to watch out for like a max speed Rotom, I guess. But even then, you can even run like the Life Orb on. Well, I mean, Lumberry on the Lucario if you want. Azel's pretty good here, but the Tigers just obviously are not terrible. I know this is a tough one to call. I think I'm gonna call this one pretty even. Kabutop's actually abusing Coco's own ray is very scary because the Warriors team are like King, as I said, are Kingdra and Floatzel and like near of those really takes a Stone Edge very well at all. And yes, Fortress can take Stone Edge, but like it does not enjoy Rainbows and Waterfalls. So yeah, I think I'm gonna lean Barchoke here, but it's a tough one. Let's get into it. Barchoke on the left, Coconut on the right. We see Nail Queen leads into Crest. Then we have a Toxic Spike Terminal as Crest Calm Ice. Is there ground poison? There's no ground poison on Barchoke's side, so this will affect Pokemon, but there's not much that's affected by Toxic Spikes. This affects Jolteon, the Suicune. Now, Jolteon, Suicune, Kabutops, I guess Hariyama, but triggering Guts is not bad for you. Yeah, it's probably Guts. There's no reason to run Thick Bat. Anyway, Crest going to start Calm Mining on turn 1 as we go into Azelf here. You have a Psychic for 37. Wow, might be a more offensive Crest. We're going to get off the taunt with Azelf. And Psychic's going to do another. Oh, it's going to crit, so Azelf can't boom in the following turn. That's really unfortunate. Electivire's going to come in. He's going to start say out. It has Meditate. Wow, interesting. But Psychic doing 72. Thunder Punch at +1, doing 48 with a Life Orb. Yeah, I mean, Electivire is just so weak, man. I like in this format, but like it's tough to pull off. Like if you can make it work with sword. And oh my god, there's psychic wow crit. Oh my god. And then we have the surf here. I mean, wow. It's not even I mean, yes, Crash might just win. I mean, Lucario can revenge it, but like this Crash took out for me crit on Kingdra, crit on Voltsoul. I mean, not crit on Azelf, crit on Voltsoul. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Wait, was I crit? Wait, one second. How many crits is that? Yeah, crit on Azelf, crit on Kingdra, crit. Oh my god. Crit Azelf, crit on Kingdra. Yeah. I mean, what can you do, man? And then crit. I mean, this crit hardly didn't matter, but still, like, I mean, that's Pokemon side. And unfortunately, DVP crits are a bit more common. Vacuum Move is not gonna kill. It's Salic Bears with some sort of like SD Salic set, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just how the game goes. Like sometimes in DVP you get crit 3 times, and it's how it goes. Unfortunately, I mean, don't get me wrong. The crest move was very, very good from Barcho. Like evaluating correctly that Comic is very strong if they don't specifically read Azelf, and it did not. But like, I don't know, I just felt kind of sad. But it is Pokemon sometimes. That's how it goes. Electivire considering to show that kind of sucks as much as I want to. It's not proving my agenda of saying it's usable, right? It's really not. But yeah, Barchoke's gonna be on top 8. Coco's gonna go on be an unfortunate way, but that's how it goes. Okay, our last game of top 12 here of this round losers bracket. Pull it up. We have here. And we have here CBBC 9 versus Tago C3. CBB obviously a very, very good small gun player. Very well known. And Tago, the winner of the first distortion draft tournament, made top 8 last night. He's just made gone super far in every DVP tournament I've seen in it, honestly. So if he wins this, he'll make top 8 for a third year, or else a pretty big pressure there. And CB also wants to win for just being an amazing player and wanting to get that, that deep prize. So let's take a look here. First thing I notice is Zapdos looking pretty solid. Regirock's a good check though. Regirock helps. Gliscor helps. I mean, Regirock helps. Roam Tech helps. Gliscor kind of gets smoked by HP Ice. The dual electric structure really annoying here. For Tago, because HP Ice hits this team pretty hard outside the Thunderbolt. Jolteon's really good too because it shallow balls through the roll. I mean, Jolteon just looks insane here. Outspeeds the whole team. Smacks it all really hard with like what it could probably on Life Orb here because like I guess you have to worry about E-Speed Arcanine, but like not much priority on the team in general. Snorlax also quite scary. No real fighting type on Tago side. You might and like Redshark doesn't get phase area. It was kind of tough for Snorlax to really be broken through here. Might need something like a Roar Arcanine, like a Roar Willis Arcanine maybe, but even then that's not ideal. Starmie on Tago side, of course, looking great. I mean, obviously there's Suicune, there's Snorlax, there's Registeel, but it can keep out the hazards pretty nice, which is big. And just like clicking buttons will wear down the team. Hydro Pump especially looks pretty spamless to this team. Zapdos side adventures looks really good. It's kind of hard for Tago to break too outside to get the Regirock. And Roserade getting up hazards is gonna be big because Hypnotop really can't spin on Rotom like at all unless you're on Foresight, but that like gives Rotom turns, which you don't really want to do. So yeah, I think the hazards on Tago side are gonna be really big here. Toxic Spike specifically can wear down Suicune, can wear down Snorlax if it's not running Thick Fat, which it might be Thick Fat for Arcanine, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Wearing down Pokemon like Jolteon and Hitmontop is really big too. However, Qwilfish obviously can't absorb the T-Spikes, which is not great for Tago. However, I don't think Qwilfish is a great matchup outside of that. I guess it can check like Arcanine, kind of help with Scizor, but I don't think you really need it for Scizor when you have Hitmontop, Registeel, Zapdos there. I think it's probably used to be a top 6 for CBB and maybe Arcanine over something on Tago's side. Maybe over like, I don't even know what you drop. Maybe Scizor, honestly, but I don't know. It's a tough call. I think I'm gonna have to leave this match with CBB. Let's get into it. CBB on the left, Tago on the right. Two very, very good players here. Suicune, and we see Raggy. I did not look at that at all. So we see a taunt from Raggy. Suicune's just gonna surf though, so it's not gonna get blocked by a taunt. Doing 91, but Raggy's gonna endeavor here, getting Snorlax down to 4%. It's now at 29 after the citrus, but I mean, double edge, wow. And Raggy's gonna trade for the Snorlax. It's a pretty big trade early on, but Snorlax, as we said, was really difficult for Tago to break through. Roserade comes in, we're gonna put the Zapdos to sleep. Except it's one berry, so it makes sense it's Sora. He's going to come out for 84. Into Registeel to absorb a second Sweet Power. He's going to miss, but obviously he can just quick a third one if he wants. He is going to. But it's another one very well. And yeah, rocks go up. Wow, that's huge. Quick 4 Sweet Power. I mean, CB is clearly super prep for Sweet Powder Rosary with the double Lumberry. Very, very nice prep. I like that a lot. I mean, that Aki was real cool too. Lots of great prep. We're only on turn 8. We see Gliscor and Zapdos coming. Zapdos counts just HP Ice here. And it does as well. In comes the Starmie. So I forced to have a start. Jolteon. Oh, it's Screen Starmie. Interesting. Wait, so you're asking to surf for 51. It might not have reflect. I don't know if it gets reflected in this gen. I don't. Obviously, no. Thunderbolt, as the Gliscor comes in. Now the keys will take the HP Ice. We're going to quick Rain Dance with Jolteon as we Earthquake, as we Swords Dance. Oh, wow. Hand Power. I don't know if that's Ice or Water. It doesn't really matter. South Bear, we're getting up the rocks, so at least we have speed now. We're going to Earthquake. Very cool set. Swords and stuff like Earthquake, it's like with the Salad But Qwilfish should come in, which does have to be in the rain, so Waterfall. So he was so he's going for a more offensive Qwilfish route with Waterfall. Very interesting. And Life Orb. We're also gonna come in, take the Waterfall for 73. That's a ton of damage. And it's gonna flinch. Well, that might just be game over. That's unfortunate, but and we're gonna Aqua Jet in case it's cussed at, which it probably was, honestly. And yes, Qwilfish does 2 more turns. Starmie's gonna go down here, obviously. Wow, just this is pretty dominant by CBB here. And then comes the Rosary to sack that as well. And Tago's banking on his last Pokemon to beat these 4, which is pretty difficult to say the least. It's Arcanine. I mean, Arcanine's probably sworn to Sailing, right? It's got extreme speed, sure, but like, there's a Suicune. I don't think you can do it even with Life Orb. Yeah, you're out of speed, but like, you don't have Wild Charge Inspiration anyway. Even then, wouldn't kill. Double Edge, only doing 32 with a Life Orb. That's nothing. That's a Fizz Def as hell Suicune, yeah. CB's gonna win the game honestly pretty dominantly. There was some cool play on both sides. I really like the taunt weed Raccoon Endeavor, very nice. The SD Salad quest was really cool. And this probably also might have just won the game if CB didn't specifically bring like Rain into Qwilfish. This probably is swept at that point, or at least it got Suicune. Suicune was it? Suicune, no, Suicune would have been yeah, probably would have survived, but it would have done a lot of work. Arcanine with the Life Orb double edge is neat. Light Screen Star makes a lot of sense. These 2 electrics are very, very scary. But we did see the more offensive Suicune doing 91 to Racket. Obviously, Racket's pretty frail, but it's definitely offensive Suicune for sure. And then we see Rain Ants into Quovish, which is really cool. If correctly evaluating that Toggle's water resists just aren't the best, and Quovish can take advantage of that, and he certainly did. So Toggle's going on top 12 wins his lowest placement in DT so far, but I mean top 12 still isn't bad for any means. And CB is going to advance to top 8 here. And now we are actually moving on to top 8. We've got our, so we're gonna see some players, all players we've already seen today. So let's get into our next matchup for top 8. We've got Barchoke C11 versus King Clyde Team 13. So let's take a look here. First I know Heatrick's a pretty solid breaker here. I mean, there's Tentacruel, but like Tentacruel doesn't love this team because it gets taken advantage of a Jolteon Crest. Even like Earthquake Hariyama can't come in if you call like the Hariyama's weird here. Like fighting's not that great, but like Earthquake Payback guys this team really hard. If you can like get it positioned right. In fact, actually Hariyama and Trick Room looks really good because it underspeeds everything or like Bronzong, yeah, I guess Cradily. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. We do see with the ground type being a Flygon, Jolteon and the dual electrics from Bergdorf side both look really, really good here. I mean, both team. I mean, Clyde again, Thunderbolt HP. Shadow Ball hits his team really freaking hard, and both Pokemon have access to that coverage lineup, which is really big. Uh, Clyde's own Roam doesn't look bad here. Electric Blitz goes off his team real hard. Hydro Pump for the Heatran, so I can see a more offensive Rotom, but you also have to consider a defensive set for like stuff like Suicune. Boss, I think offensive Rotom makes a bit more sense here. Suicune is very scary. I could see something like Haze Tentacruel eventually being the response, or some sort of like weird Cradily set maybe. And Flygon is solid, but Crest kind of shits on it. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I think I have to lean Barchoke here because this Electrics is so strong. Let's get into it. Barchoke left, Clyde on the right. So we've got a Toxapex go up, adds the Harmony's gonna bulk up on turn 1. Oh god. Their Toxapex Charge is gonna pay back for 74. That's a lot of damage. But as I expected, Tentacruel was running Haze for the Suicune. That's also gonna work here. But he's going to announce the payback. Crobat's going to come in, pray for such a Heatran, but he's got Super Fang. And now taunts, the Heatran's getting low, but he's just going to boom anyway and take out the Crobat right away. So, Barchoke up 5-4 here. Hariyama's going to come in. We're going to outrage with the Flygon. That's only going to do 60 even life orb. Payback's going to do 78 because Toxapex did trigger its own guts. That's huge for Clyde. I mean, for Barchoke. It's good now, but now it's Flygon super well. Essentially 3 Pokemon down. Jordan's gonna come in. We know it's Life Orb, so you just click the Heat Power button. Or a Shadow Ball, that makes a bit more sense, yeah. And comes the Bronzong, gonna take very well, of course. We're gonna click the Rain Dance as Bronzong's gonna payback. Lots of payback this game. 38%. We're gonna go out to Suicune here, and Suicune looking pretty good in the range, just like clicking Hydro Pump or something. Or if we're only doing 15. Is this Hydro Pump? It could just be Surf, honestly. We'll see. Cradle is gonna come in. We're gonna Calm Mind. Now it's +1 in the rain. That's very, very scary. Surf doing 46. That's hit in the rain +1. Wow, that's a super step growth. Cradle has been pretty impressive all tour, I'll be honest. It's been really, really doing well. Yeah, Storm Drain does not. I mean, it doesn't get Storm Drain, and even if it did, block the move. Area rest, Sleep Talk, get off the rest, but Seabomb's not free to kill. We'll get up the rocks, of course, but Suicune looks like it might win this exchange 1v1 long term, which is obviously not great for Clyde unless it gets a crit Seabomb at the right moment. You'll wake up. We're just gonna surf here. Do 54. So that's what the fuck is that roll? 46 into 54 is a roll of all time. That was like an absolute mean to absolute max. We're gonna start charging with roll. Very cool set. So we're gonna start surfing, but it's gonna charge again. So we're just gonna surf there. Now Thunderbolt should probably KO from this range. Quick up third charge. Okay, I might be getting a bit greedy, but fair enough. Pain Split. Okay, never mind. It makes more sense. Never surf, so it's not doing too much. Just continue staying up, and she's gonna finally take this kill. Gonna charge again for a 4th time. Really risking that 1 in 16 crit chance here, though. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with these plays. I think you're risking so much when you could, like, you don't need the +6 here. You really don't. In comes the Jolteon. And you're gonna Pain Split, yeah, and protect the Pain Split now it's super well. Like, it might not be in Shadow Ball range, but it doesn't really matter, right? Joanne's gonna Rain Dance actually, yes, Shadow Ball, because now you're in Kabutop's range, yeah. Like, I don't understand the going up to +5. I feel like that was a big, very greedy, honestly. Yeah, now you just lose to Kabutops. Like, you needed to try and keep the roll a bit healthier, right? And like weighing it, get to +5 instead of just taking your kill. I don't really get that. And now Kabutops again. 2 fossils game, both Cradle and Kabutops doing a lot of work, and yeah. And And then yeah, I mean that's just how it goes. Very cool prep from Berger. We saw the I love the bulk up payback beat on Hariyama and getting the guts boost is huge. Rain Dance Jordan as we've seen a lot this tour is very good. Heatran just booming on that Crobat, getting rid of the counterplay for later. Hayes Tackle makes a lot of sense. Really good Suicune Jack and worked against the Hariyama here. Charge is interesting on roll. I think it's a great move in this matchup. I just think he kind of clicked it too much. But yeah, that's a win for Bertrick moving on top six, and Classic gonna go down top eight. Now for our last game of the day, we have in once again top eight we have Sleepy C12 versus CUBT9. As I stated earlier, two very good players, so we are going to see how this one goes. Let's say check something real quick, then we'll get right into the matchup. I am a oh I have myself. What the fuck? What the fuck happened? Oh right. I am so sorry to everyone who wanted to watch the stream and does. I somehow added my. I don't know how the fuck I even did that, but anyway. Yeah. Let's just get into this matchup before I talk about it more. Embarrass myself more. Anyway, we've got dual electrics on CB side into Raikou Donphan. We see a lot of dual electrics this tournament. So far, they've all been really good. Dual electric has been really powerful. Like in this day combination of Zapdos, Jolteon, and Rotom has been like base run has been really good. And I will say once again here, it looks pretty good, but Raikou and Donphan are pretty good pairing to check these guys. And Dragonite, Registeel's only rare check. I guess this week, Registeel's week are decent checks. So Dragonite's got a bit of a hard time. Skarmory's gonna have a real time getting anything done with the two electrics, and like even Registeel can like paralyze it and wear it down. Pretty prevent some roosts. Suicune can hit it pretty hard. Yeah, Skarmory's gonna have a bit of a difficult time making progress in this game in general. And like there's even Taunt Quillfish if you want. We do see the Raikou looking pretty solid. There's the ground type on CB side is Trapinch. I guess essentially the ground type is like Jolteon, but and to be fair, Trapinch can beat Raikou if you only get to +1, but I don't think it comes up in good better things you be doing. Even then, afterwards, then you in Dragonite, like, what the fuck? You're kind of in trouble. Because obviously, you don't want to ever give Dragonite free turns. Yeah, I think I just give CB as matchup. It looks really heavily in his favor, honestly. Let's just get right into it. Sweeping on the left, on the right, we see Miltank lead into Zapdos. We're just going to sub with the Zapdos on turn one. Get up the rocks with Miltank. So very aggressive lead from CBB. Get a discharge here for 30. Bison is not going to break the sub, so it's a bulkier Zapdos and probably a non-offensive being invested at all Miltank. Discharge doing another 30%. Miltank can roost it, Miltank here, but as Miltank, as we can just spam discharge till we get the power anyway. And there it is. Bison's going to break the sub, but you know it doesn't, so you kind of have to be forced out as it's just sub again into the Raikou. On the HP ground, very good play from CB. Getting a ton of chip on this Raikou early. Thunder, oh my god, it's gonna miss us huge. HP ground coming off for another huge amount of damage on Raikou. Thunder is an interesting choice, I guess. Rest on the Raikous was probably rest talk. HP ground gonna do another 45, those who can't do this indefinitely. Out to Miltank on the hitting power. Yep, Miltank's gonna eat that pretty well. But also Miltank's not in the best position here. We're gonna sub again with Zapdos. Heal about the Miltank, getting rid of the power on the Miltank and the sleep on Raikou is also nice. Heal up the discharge. It's paralyzed immediately again. And that's why you run discharge though. To be fair, Bison not gonna break the sub or discharge, and you get the crit. Oof, that's right. Because now Zapdos basically claims the second Pokemon. Raikou comes in, can break the sub, assuming he hits the Thunder. It's gonna Calm Mind here. Okay. HP Ground does not kill with another one, so I guess you can rest. But yeah, you can rest here, but still, it's not in the best position. Hitting Power is doing so now Zapdos might actually be forced out. But I guess you don't have to really worry about it until like I guess you probably don't like keep saying up. Snorlax comes in as Records just stay asleep. So it's not running Sleep Talk in its last slide, it's running something else. Probably covered. Anyway, Snorlax is gonna start cursing. It's gonna focus punch, expect in the spike on Snorlax. It's gonna do a good chunk at 46. However, I mean, it's just power to beat Whirlwind. Fair enough. We're just gonna Brave Bird though, get off some chip. This Snorlax is actually looking pretty strong with focus punch here. Very ADV coded tech. See another curse come out. Just go Whirlwind this time, so good boy Sleepy. Gain the Zapdos, but Zapdos obviously saw at least it took the rock chip though. HP ground calling the Raikou and it's good not get that call right. In comes the Suicune on the hazard, so Skarmory's get more chip on this at least. Out to the field. Very interesting tech. Not a Pokemon you see very often. I'm curious to see what it'll do here. Suicune comes in and gets Surf. It's also going to be Substitute. As we can knock off the field, that's obviously going to do virtually nothing. It's going to start Calm Minding. We're going to go Grass Knot. I didn't even know this thing got Grass Knot. Well, I knew going Energy Ball. I didn't know it got Grass Knot. So yeah, that is going to kind of punish these. And Psych Up. Holy shit. What a set by Sleepy. Oh my god. This Fiona just forced out those Sweet Unit. Got the +2. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, but get knock off Registeel's Expert Bell. Okay. So this looks kind of crazy, but Expert Bell is not that uncommon on Registeel in the Skarmory matchup. It's a let your like Thunder or whatever. Thunderbolt do a lot more damage to Skarmory potentially to a KO it. So yeah, I mean we see a 50 here, like ooh, powers are unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But like if we saw Expert Bell, it would have done 60, so it can't roost it off is the point. I mean, it can't like by using type man, you can power with T Wave, etc. So yeah, Expert Belt is pretty common in the Skarm matchup. Go for Earthquake here, but it's definitely packing Ice Punch with his Expert Belt, or just go Boom, that works too. And Dragons can go down there and sweep. They have a really tough position now, down 5-3. Raiko's gonna come in, but Snorlax can come in too. Snorlax looking very, very good. Driftblim is the last on Sweepy side, makes sense. Into the return, good bounce off the Driftblim, of course, doing nothing. We're gonna miss a will. It's gonna start cursing. Oh no. That's really bad for Sleepy. You're gonna miss a second move. Oh god. Ice Punch gonna do 54, not get a kill. We get Citrus Berry, so it's procs and burn at least, but that's right. And we're gonna switch out Jolteon in case of the Destiny Bond. We're gonna quick. What was I mean, it doesn't matter like Jolteon, but goddamn, that's rough. Willis is only 75% accurate in this gem, that's still pretty sad. Discharge doing 18 to Raikou. I mean Jolteon. Obviously, I'll switch to Raikou from Jolteon. Let's go get roared out though, forcing the Fion. Now this is pretty much a free kill for CB. I mean, yeah, should be supposed to go back out to Raikou, but now it's in a real tough position. It can rest, but like you can just roar it out again. Probably get, yeah, it's gonna rest. I assume it's just gonna roar it out again. Yeah, just roar it out again. Fion comes back in again. This cycle is like not really favoring Sleepy here, long term. Yeah, discharge. Yep. And then we got yep. Let's go a few turns here. But overall, Sleepy's just gonna lose this exchange long term. But I'm gonna go for HP ground as it wishes. But I'm gonna do 56 now. So we back. I mean, Jolteon's back to almost full. It revealed to be Shucka, and yeah, I mean this is over. Jolteon should just win here. We're getting a Snorlax to get the wish back up. And yeah, because we know Raikou's not sleep talk now, like Snorlax just wins. Quicksilver turn gets a crit. I don't think it matters because of the wait. Crit definitely matters. Was Raikou was at 100, right? Yeah, so it will 2 KO'd anyway, and like because it had our sleep turn, so it's fine. So yeah, CB's gonna win 5-0, but honestly, I mean, it was pretty unlucky of the Toilet. This didn't feel as dominant of a 5-0 as a 5-0 appears, but like very good prep with the Snorlax. I like that a lot. Solid Jolteon set. I love offensive fire steals. I think it's really underrated. It's seen in OU quite a bit, but a lot of people don't think about it in draft, especially people who don't have deep OU experience. But like in OU, we see a lot of tanks that's like a heavy amount of offense investment, and here I think it works really well, especially into stuff like Skarm, especially even stuff like Suicune, you were like boosted Thunder Punch to try to not let sub on you, stuff like that. Very cool the Psycho Fiona. I like that. It's a discount hard swap mana fade, which is obviously banned in this tournament, but it was kind of funny. It did work. It forced out this week. It just didn't last long term. Interesting step from Jolteon. I'm curious what the Thunder was for. I'm sure it was for some sort of specific role in like KO to pick up. I'm not sure what. But yeah, very cool. Yeah, CB's gonna move on to top six. Let's go finish our stream for today. We do have our top six now. I guess I'll show the bracket real quick. For our top six, we have in the winners finals, we still have Alpha versus Mad Sheen C4 14. And in the losers bracket for the top six, we have Crying Seed 1 versus Barchoke Seed 11 and Nate Dogg Seed 15 versus CBB Seed 9. The winners of these losers bracket games will guarantee at least $100. So it's a huge, huge round. And going forward, the prize will only get bigger and bigger. So yeah, huge, huge win here. I believe the winners bracket both already guaranteed at least 300 for themselves. So yeah, I mean, gigantic games coming up. I will probably, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream the next two loser bracket games and the loser bracket files and winner files, and do grand finals live. So, yeah, that's about it for this. Have a good day, everyone. Now I'm going to call it there. Peace.